So what if you woke up tomorrow and realized you were the absolute last human being on Earth? It's honestly one of the most terrifying questions you can ask yourself. And before we dive in, let me address the elephant in the room. This crude, stick figure aesthetic we're using for this explainer, it's not just for show. Think of it as a digital diary. These are the frantic, unpolished, bad stick drawings in MS Paint of a survivor trying to document an existential journey into the very limits of human sanity. So let's step into their shoes.
All right, picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning, roll over, and do what we all do. You check your phone. But there's nothing. No messages, no notifications, no annoying spam emails. You get up, step outside, fully expecting that usual hum of the morning commute, but the streets are completely empty. There are no cars driving by, no voices in the distance, not even an airplane crossing the sky. You rush back inside, flip on the TV, just static. You frantically call your family, your friends, straight to voicemail. It's literally just you and the sudden, surreal, deafening quiet.
You hop in your car and just start driving through your city. 8 billion people. Gone. Just like that. There's no warning, no massive explosion, no explanation left behind to help you piece together what happened. Just total, absolute silence. As our survivor wanders these empty digital streets in their MS Paint diary, you really have to ask yourself, how would you actually process this? Well, the short answer is, you wouldn't. At least not at first.
Because that first day, it would feel completely unreal. Your brain physically cannot just immediately accept an impossible reality. It's a psychological defense mechanism we call denial. You aren't just going to sit down on the curb and accept it. No. You'd spend that entire first day in a frantic, desperate search. You'd be speeding down highways, calling everyone in your contacts over and over, checking hospitals, police stations, airports, shopping malls. You'd literally be looking for anyone, anything.
But eventually, the sun goes down, and reality becomes absolutely impossible to ignore. You really are alone. Now, at first glance, the survival aspect of this wouldn't actually seem that difficult, right? Modern civilization is packed with resources. Supermarkets have enough canned food to feed thousands. Gas stations are everywhere. And for a little while, the water systems and the electrical grid are still going to work. You could go live in the biggest mansion in town, drive any sports car you want, literally take whatever you want. It sounds kind of like a weird, lonely paradise. But the real threat here isn't starvation. It's human nature.
See, we evolved as highly social creatures. For hundreds of thousands of years, our very survival depended entirely on the group. Our brains are hardwired from birth to seek connection, which means even with unlimited food, unlimited money, and total unlimited freedom, your biggest enemy is no longer starvation. It's an unlimited, crushing sense of loneliness.
As the days slowly turn into weeks, you'd find yourself making a mental inventory. It's kind of like a sad, crude grocery list typed out in this digital diary of things you never, ever knew you'd miss. Think about it. Human beings rarely experience true silence. Even in the dead of night, there's always the hum of an AC unit, cars miles away, just background noise. But now, that silence starts feeling heavy, almost physical. You'd start missing the most mundane stuff, cashiers just saying hello, a neighbor mowing their lawn at 7 a.m., children laughing. Honestly, you'd even miss someone complaining in line at the coffee shop. Every single one of those sounds used to represent life, and now it's just you.
And this psychological collapse you're feeling, it's quickly mirrored by a physical one. We look around and civilization seems so permanent, but it's incredibly fragile. Without millions of workers constantly maintaining it, the whole shebang breaks down. Within days, the internet disappears and websites vanish. Within weeks, the cell towers stop working and communication networks completely collapse. And eventually, over months, the power grids fail. Entire cities go completely dark. For the first time in centuries, places like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago lose their glow. It's probably beautiful to see the stars so bright, but it's also terrifying because every single dark skyline is just a glaring reminder that humanity is gone.
But as the human world crumbles into darkness, the natural world just explodes back into life. Nature is patient, and honestly, nature always wins. Without humans constantly patching roads and maintaining buildings, grass starts growing right up through the cracks in the highways. Trees push through the sidewalks, and vines start scaling up skyscrapers. Zoos fail, which means some animals escape while others tragically perish, and our pets face a really uncertain future. Meanwhile, wild populations dramatically expand. You'd start seeing deer roaming the suburbs, and packs of coyotes moving right into downtown urban centers. The world is slowly transforming into something completely unfamiliar. And as you watch this happen day by day, a really unsettling realization washes over you. Earth is doing just fine without humans. In fact, it might be doing even better. The planet is actively healing itself. It simply doesn't need us anymore. And this realization brings us to arguably the most dangerous phase of the survivor's journey.
So, what happens when there is literally nobody left to talk to? It's a chilling thought. This is where things become truly frightening. Because like we established earlier, humans just aren't built for total isolation. Even the most introverted, solitary people in the world still rely on knowing that others simply exist somewhere out there. When you sever that invisible connection, the human mind literally begins changing.
You'd start talking to yourself constantly. At first, it's pretty normal, but soon you're narrating your every action out loud, arguing with yourself, answering your own questions. You start treating inanimate objects like real people, giving names to cars, having full conversations with photographs. And you aren't doing this because you're losing your mind. You're doing it because your brain is desperately trying to survive. Studies show loneliness affects the exact same regions of the brain as physical pain. It literally hurts. After years of this, your brain craves social interaction so intensely that it just creates it. You might start hearing voices, or you could look across the dinner table and see a vivid hallucination of a person. Not because they're real, but because your mind logically needs them to be there to keep you functioning.
And at some point, the ultimate question is going to enter your mind. What happens after I die? If nobody's ever going to answer your radio broadcasts, the truth becomes totally unavoidable. You are not just a person anymore. You are the entire human species. Every single language, every culture, every dream, every invention ever created, it all ends with you. That is a level of responsibility and an existential weight that is almost impossible for us to comprehend.
As the decades pass, your greatest enemy eventually becomes time itself. You're aging. And remember, there are no doctors anymore. No hospitals, no surgeries, no new antibiotics. In this incredibly fragile state, a simple infection from a random scratch, a broken bone, or even a minor heart attack, any of these could end everything instantly. The older you get, the more vulnerable you become. You realize you aren't living in a human world anymore. You're just living in Earth's next chapter, and you are simply its final fragile witness.
Now, I want you to imagine your final day. You sit down somewhere beautiful, maybe up on a mountain or overlooking the overgrown city where you grew up. The sun begins setting. There's no audience. It's just you. You think about everything humanity ever accomplished. The pyramids, the moon landing, art, science, love, our wars, all that leading to this exact quiet moment. For billions of years, Earth existed just fine without humans. For a brief little blip, we arrived, built massive civilizations, and wondered why we were here. And then, we just disappeared. The universe is going to continue, but humanity, we just become a story, a memory, a tiny footprint in time. The greatest chapter Earth ever witnessed finally comes to an end.
And as darkness falls across an empty world, the last human is gone. It's a heavy, profoundly intense weight to try and wrap your head around. So I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up this explainer. What do you think would be the absolute hardest part of being the last human on Earth? Would it be the brutal physical survival or the crushing silence? Let us know what you think.